Got the music, not me. Let me know. Should be hearing now, right? All good. Levels look nice on my end. All right, thank you for that. I appreciate that, guys, checking in. Also, I had to test this new feature, see if this actually works. Look at that. Okay. Loud and clear. Thank you guys for showing up and as usual being the nice checks, the quality assurance checks, making sure that I'm not rambling and nothing. But like I was saying, Money Mondays, we're back as promised yesterday. For those people that showed up yesterday during the live stream, I appreciate you guys. It was a blast. I had fun putting some of you guys on the spot and seeing how you guys kind of squirmed and such. But that's what it's about, right? Subscriber Sundays. Jasmine, what's going on? Thank you for showing up. As usual, we do the housekeeping, right? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're new here to the stream, subscribe. That's the name of the game here. Also, join us in the chat. Let us know. We're going to be talking about, real estate, because, I'll be liking real estate. We're going to walk through the home buying process, right? We're going to jump back and forth. If you have any questions about that, this is where we're going to get some of those things answered. But we're going to generalize it before we get specialized down in probably other sort of episodes down the line, see if these guys like it or not. Then I had an idea earlier that maybe we can highlight, I hate to say like highlight schemes, but pitfalls, right? Because I'm a big fan of American greed, right? In the name of the show, CNBC, and also just good old fashioned American greed. So I've got an episode where they highlighted this couple from Dallas, and basically for those of you that are black or that type of black, you understand what a susu is, where everyone kind of pulls their money and you give, and then when that pot comes back around, you've got a lump sum. Now technically it's supposed to even out, it's supposed to be the same thing, but it's supposed to lean sort of on human psychology where you can do more with a lump sum. You're looking forward to that investment as it comes around. That's the idea. But they took it a different way where it became actually a pyramid scheme. So scams are on the rise. Scams have never gone away. I'm Nigerian. I know about scams very well. Not that I'm engaging in any, but it's real. So, and scams get more and more sophisticated. I think next week we're going to go over romance scams and how that is still a very big thing on the internet today. You don't want your grandma thinking that she's, in a full-blown relationship with, someone like Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and she's sending him all the money that should have been yours, and it hurts, right? Maybe. But listen, like I said, we're going to go through the process, right? So again, if you are new here, double tap the screen, triple tap that screen, subscribe to the channel. All that good juicy stuff, all that YouTube stuff. And if you have any questions, just jump in, throw it in the chat, and then we can talk about it. Maybe even afterwards. We might do just like a little after this whole chat. I might jump on later on just to keep the camera rolling feel. But Monday Mondays first, right? Monday Mondays first. Oh yeah. Twerking grandma from yesterday, right? Yeah, she was getting it in. She was enjoying that. Our friend just told me he was scammed from the susu he was supposed to get paid for. Exactly. The susu be trouble. The susu be some sort of trouble. And it we know it. In the heat of that moment, in that thought, it seems like, this can be fantastic. But it's always like relying on, maybe you just aren't good with money. Maybe you just don't understand the intricacies of what's supposed to go on here. But it's very easy for people to run off at the back. Most investments are going to take time. That's the unsexy part of it, right? That's the unsexy part of it. And if you're doing a susu, maybe you need an inaccessible bank account. Right? That's one of the recommendations I used to give myself. I used myself way back in the day when I was saving up money for my first rental unit, where I knew if there was something that I wanted and I couldn't do the let it sit in your cart long enough and you might change your mind thing, I put most of that money, right? Most of the money, you budget, you put most of your money where it's inaccessible, where either you've got to sell off stocks or It's just say something like, I use Ally Bank, and Ally just doesn't have any brick and mortar stores, so it's all electronic, right? That way they keep their overhead a little bit lower. They keep their overhead a little bit lower, so that way it's easier for them to actually make moves. Cool. So they give you better interest rates, they give you better rates all over. But when it's time for you to pull your money out, what happens? It takes 2-3 days to hit your account. So in those 2-3 days, if you were like, yeah, I really wanted to buy this thing, maybe not right now. By the time that money actually moves out and you watch it dip and go from here to here, you're like, damn, kind of don't want it. Right? It's not the most important thing. But so we'll get down to it. So listen, you want to buy a house, right? It's the American dream. It's the American way. We talk about it all the time, or it's talked to us a lot of the times. It's the default idea. It's the default dream that probably isn't really a thing for most people today. Looking at Gen Z, it's looking like it's less and less possible for real reasons, i.e. your income isn't keeping up with the rising cost of everything, right? Everything's affected by everything. Everything is happening. Gas goes up and affects more than just you. It affects everyone else around you, affects even your Uber Eats, even your DoorDash. Everyone relies on that transportation model. Trucks got a truck, and that gas, that diesel is very expensive. So if you're lower down on a totem pole, you just pass it further and further down the line. So, if I own the trucking company and I have to pay more for gas, I'm going to, charge you guys more, right? That's just how it is. I just keep passing down. Say you guys are the store, the grocery store. Okay. I don't want to eat that. I just pass it down to you. Now eggs are $6 per egg. And you look like, I need an omelet. So you pay it. That's how it is. The lowest man is usually the consumer. Hey, it's usually the customer. And you have to take that. You have to eat that. So that's on you. So right now, medium home prices in America is $400K. $400K. Right? That's understanding that there's some places like in Cali where the average price may be something like $800,000, $900,000. New York maybe $6,000. Somewhere in middle America, maybe $3,000. I think Dallas is still maybe around, that number. But put them all together, where you find yourself, about $400K. So that's what you're going to need to get into your house. And let's let go of the idea of starter homes. Let's, put that to the side. I think it's a cute concept when you had an abundance of homes, you had an abundance of money, where, we could just get in this place now, and then when we grow and our family grows, we'll find something new. We'll just put money in here, and that way our money can grow, and then you can't do that. The house you own right now, especially if you have an aggressively low interest rate, probably the house you're going to die. Probably the house you're going to keep forever, just as long as the interest rates are what they are. So 400K, how do you get that? How do you get the 400K, right? Do you need straight 400K? That's pretty much a pipe dream. Some people work maybe 10, 15 years at a job before they see 400K in a retirement. So what do? How do you get that? Well, you have to have a certain percentage of it down, right? You have to have that as a down payment. Conventionally, it's 20%, right? You need 20% down. You need to have that cash in order for you to get a loan, to qualify for a loan to get this place. So, quick, rough math, 400,000, 20% is what? $80,000. How many people have seen $80,000 in their account? If you do, you got a question? What's up? As long as it's a legitimate question, just let me know. Type it in there, and I'll get to it when I see it. So, what you need that 20%. Most people aren't going to see 20% down. I've talked with farm. Oh wow. Racism alive and well. Here's the thing, what I love about the internet and racist trolls and such. I've never met someone doing better than me that had something to say like that. So as we consider, if you have the $80,000, if you have that, then Gucci, you're great. You can qualify for a conventional loan, as long as you also can cover closing costs and any other costs that come up with that. Most people today aren't going to have the $100,000, aren't going to put their hands on $80,000. Okay. So now what do you end up doing? There's other options for you to go and sort of look at this where you can attack it different ways. FHA lets you put anywhere from 3.5 to 10% down. That makes things, much, much easier. Right. Yeah. You never ever in my life, right? And I've been in nice spaces. I've been in expensive places, right? People doing better than me, people doing better than you, generally doing better than you. They want to give back. They want to say, I can help you out. Right? I can help you out. Yeah, here it is. Here's the game. I want to see you do well, because people at the top realize there's room for everyone at the top. People with nothing but hate in their heart, they're going to do what they're going to do. You can't stop that. Right? I'd be hating too. Right? Sometimes you have to sit there and look at someone that doesn't look like you. Right? And we're not just keeping it black. Right? Someone that doesn't look like you succeeded, where you're just kind of a regular average guy doing nothing special, nothing remotely incredible. And people just say, oh yeah, that's you. There's a guy that doesn't have your background, doesn't look like you, had to actually overcome challenges and just try shit, right? And just try shit. People that actually know me in real life, like, this dude's kind of incredible, right? So, but listen, again, I love it. I love it. It's one of those things that you can use as confirmation that you're doing the right thing, right? When people like that, are so aggrieved and bothered, we love it. Takes out of life view, right? Remember, when someone's trolling you, especially in these spaces, they know you, right? They know you. They see you. They can look and see, this is his name. This is his image. I don't know you, right? I don't know you. Right? That's how I look at it. Oh, God! I really don't know you at all. Right? I just give them do my thing. Right? I wish them the same sort of thing like the twerking grandma. I hope you find the black dude that you love. That's it. But so since most people can't come up with 20% down today with the average home price, $80,000, what it is, you can get a loan where you can put 1% down, where you can put something like 3.5 with FHA. You all up to 10%. Now we hear a lot about these things. Yeah, subscribe and like it too, right? Yeah, make sure he's expressed, so he can get his fill. Damn, I hate that black guy, but I love looking at him, so I'm gonna come back and look at him again. I can try to glean little things of his life. Maybe he can school me and teach me. Right? If you ask nicely, maybe. But listen, so people end up saying, okay, you can put down just 3.5%. And that's possible, right? You can get away with doing something like that, putting that money down. But then what are the drawbacks? The less money you put up front, the larger your mortgage is going to be. And that seems simple. But when you hear people talking about, you can get in this place for as low as this. You see those people on Instagram, those realtors on Instagram always showing you the house, and they're like, oh yeah, $13,000 get you in this house. Well, yeah, if you qualify for FHA. And FHA, they give you these lower percentage interest rates, because it's not interest rates, but down payment requirements, but they got to jack up other things. They got to tackle other things. Private mortgage insurance, PMI, becomes a thing that you have to add on. It's another bit of money that you end up paying monthly. Generally speaking, right, remember, we're below the 20%, the conventional. America likes you to be conventional. They like for you to come and say, hey, I have money. Let me buy this house. You're going to get the most aggressively low rates available. That's the ideal. When you put down less, they look at you and say, this is riskier. You're going to owe more money per month. Let's make sure we get more of our money upfront out of you with a private mortgage insurance. What does it do? It's a penalty for you to pay a little less. Hey, let's just look at it. Let's just look at it just like that. It's a penalty for you paying just a little bit less. So we're going to hit you with that. Now you've got the options of 1%, 3%, 3.5%, 10%. There's always going to be choices and trade-offs. 1%, yeah, you can get in a place cheap. You can probably put together enough money and you can qualify and be in a place very shortly. But how do you manage that? what's your monthly versus a 3.5 versus the 20%. We got a nice little graph for you in a second. You're not paying for them. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of pitfalls that happen when you just hear a lot of the information online today, where it just makes it seem like, yo, it's just this simple. Just follow the steps and you'll be all right. You'll get there. So when we're looking at just like this, the 1% down, at 3.5 and 20% down, your monthly changes. All right. We're making all assumptions. It's $400K house. We'll keep the interest rate the same. Keep your taxes and insurance the same as well. Right. Or 1% down, your monthly is going to be $3,350. 3.5%, $3,300. Now, notice the small difference, because we're starting to we're dealing with time frames on 30 years, right? Shout out to visuals. We're dealing with time frames, right? I know you don't like to just talk numbers to people and they're like, you know, what are you talking about? I thought a graph would help. So the extra 2.5% that you put down, the down payment, it only buys you how much off your 30-year mortgage? $50. Right? $50. But what is the actual monetary difference? How much would you have to come out of pocket to get from one to the other becomes the question. You have to sit there and say, okay, you got to get with your pockets. You can say, hey, pockets say, what's up? What makes sense for us? What can we do? What can we handle? That becomes a real question. If we want to get from A to B, what's the best possible way we can make this happen? If you're 1%, you're putting down $4,000. Okay, that seems like you can get that together. 3.5 is $14,000. Now we understand that we're talking about averages. We're talking about average person in the United States. That may be harder to do. I mean, 4,000 may be difficult to do, to get your hands on that. But usually that means that you may not have the best job. You may not be the best with money. And that's where your credit score and stuff comes into. Now, let's say you do the 20% down, right? You do the full 80, right? You know, now your mortgage drops to $2,650. Is that worth, right? Now you start doing the math yourself. Depending the position you're in, you can look and say, this may not make sense for me. I don't want to part with the 80. I'd rather give you the 14, and I'd rather do with the extra money monthly. You'd rather take that hit so you could look at your $80,000 in the bank and feel better about it. Okay. You just have to understand, over the life of the loan, you're going to be paying this. You're going to be paying more for the house in private mortgage insurance, in just higher interest rates, in more of your monthly is going to go towards this thing. That's where you're going to find yourself. Again, the United States rewards you for being rich. If you could put the 20% down, the United States is going to say, good. I'm going to give you the most aggressive thing you want. Now, when you take the same numbers and you start thinking, well, double that, give it to the next person, say in Cali, and you look at, say, you want to buy a house, it's $1 million. Okay. Rough math, right? 20% of $1 million, you need $200K to get into a place in Cali. And you're probably still, now your monthly is probably somewhere around $5,000 to $6,000 per month. This is when you can start looking and saying, yeah, it might not be really affordable, right? In terms of affordability, you've picked out your house. Now you're on Zillow, you're on Redfin, you know, whatever dealer's choice is. You go in and you take a look and say, I like this, I like that, I like this. Okay, cool. You look and you want to find a realtor. Okay, that's one of the easiest things. That you put out little feelers, they get in contact with you. Right? If you don't know who to start with, Zillow, Redfin, all of these, they rate a lot of these people. All you have to do is scroll, go down, and from the house, they'll have realtors active in that area. Call around for a couple, set up a little, quick calls and say, okay, what have you sold? What is selling? Tell me something about the neighborhood. Tell me something about the area. You want to lean into these people's expertise. They want to tell you, you want to know the nitty gritty of some of these places. I would actually recommend you go and visit these zip codes that you're actually interested in, because right now we're very good. We do a very good job of showing you the house from the outside, how dope it looks, and just making sure you don't see the trap house next door. You don't see the dogs off the leash, right? 2 doors down. You don't see any of that. We don't want you to see any of that. We want you to just look at the house and say, wow, it's amazing. And what happens? You go there, You go inside, you fall in love with it, right? Because this is a sexy sensual process where you start imagining yourself in there, your life in there, and that becomes sort of appetizing. That's why you stage a place, so make sure it looks a certain way, right? Pull the crime reports, pull the ratings for the schools, look at the walkability. But again, if you drive there, you can get a good sense of what it's like. Probably not what it's like 2 a.m. though. Also, if you're in the right season, go there when it's a storm. See the drainage, see what actual issues you might actually have to deal with, right? So you might end up in these pockets and these problems where you never would have got that from glimpsing a bunch of curated photos online. This is how you find yourself in trouble. This is how you got to make sure, okay, I'm not moving and shaking like that. I have no idea who that person is. My brother's my brother. He's currently busy with his toddler. So these are just tips, right? From an old pro at buying houses. You want to go there and see some of the stuff, right? And keep in mind, we're talking about a house that you want for you and your family. So listen, you identify your realtor. You got that person locked. Great. Now it's time to move and shake. You got that. You met with them. They may have you sign a clause where you're exclusive with them, right? Yeah, drive by on a Saturday night, but not drive by on a Saturday night, right? Don't do all that. So you want to go there and then you want to, meet up with this person. You're leaning on expertise, right? Understand that there's some things that they cannot tell you by law, right? There's some things they can't tell you by law, but they may have you sign a contract that says, all right, we're going to be exclusive. We're going to form this relationship. You're not going to have me go around and show you 50 places, right? Because they're not paid by the hour in that type of sense, in that typical sense. By commission, how many sales? They get 3% of the total home price when you actually go to closing, right? And they've got to kick up to, if they work for, Keller Williams, Keller got to get a price, Williams got to get a price too. But this is how it ends up working. So if you use me, you go around, right? Yeah, I'm gonna lean on your example a little bit, Marissa. Don't be too upset right now. So what ends up happening? You use them and you see 50 houses, 50, million, 11 houses, but then you turn around and you sell with someone else. Yeah, they don't want that. So you have this contract you sign with them where you're supposed to be exclusive. You're supposed to use them up until a certain date. There are ways out of that. Up front, before you sign anything, if you have a lawyer, you have a real estate attorney, have them look at some of this stuff, throw it into ChatGPT, talk about this stuff. Remember that most of these contracts that you're going to sign, you can add amendments to them. You say, cool, how about this? I'm not comfortable with these things. I want to add this. When you are in the home buying part, right? When you are essentially saying, I'm going to now sign up and get a loan for $400K, $395K, right? Whatever the amount is, this is your life now. This is your pockets. This is your money. You walk and you treat it and make sure they understand that. They're not doing you a favor. They're doing you a service. And for a service, you want to make sure you're getting exactly what you want. That's it. It's not about you being mean. It's not about you being overbearing. But sometimes, especially with our skin color, we become sometimes too appeasing. We want to make sure, hey, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that angry black woman. No, it's my money, right? I want you to treat it like this is a business with respect. Okay, this is what I need, especially when you start going into the darker side of it. And this is almost a fantastic segue into whatever that dude was saying earlier on about redlining, redistricting when you were black, when they didn't want you certain neighborhoods. This is perfect why I would be upset about an actual live when someone's talking about black people talking about buying homes, right? It's a thing you do now. It's a thing we do now. We in there. So when there's a concerted effort to keep you out of certain neighborhoods, you need to understand not every place you go is going to be as welcoming as you might like, but this is what the realtor is supposed to help you out in. Maybe they can't flat out say it's full of racists, right? But they can steer you towards the right places. They can steer you, say, yeah, you might not be comfortable here. Not saying that you can't buy, it's just saying these are things you might not be able to see during your Saturday night drive by when it's pouring out. But it's not as if we're bold enough to now go and knock on certain doors and see, hey, right? I see you got a Cadillac, right? I was assuming you got a Hellcat. I was assuming you were black. How's it like living in this neighborhood? That's all right. When I bought my first place, full of black people. Black people went down the streets. White people too, right? But no one looked out of place. No one looked at you when got out the car, my little Infiniti G35. No one looked and said, "What are you doing here?" Right? And no one came and asked me, "How much am I?" You know, nothing stupid like that. But you saw wealth around. Across the street, there was this guy. It was, I don't want to call it a summer home, because even the summers didn't see them. The most I would see is sometimes once a year, there would be people that came, young, you know, they look affluent. You know, they'd have like this beach party, this pool party in the backyard, and it went up to the water. They had a dock, everything. Yeah. No. I looked over their place. You know, I was being a creep, right? So, you know, it was a nice place. You would just see people come there twice a year, do maintenance on the place. I'm not just talking lawn. I mean, you know, painting the actual house, right? And then you see these people. Maybe I think I saw them twice, right? Being there for damn near 5-6 years. I saw them twice, where they just came and a couple of days they were out. This was their vacation home or their second home or their trip. I don't know, but it was gorgeous. The backyard, dock, all this, right? So you want to pay attention to these small things, because this is where you're potentially going to be. This is potentially where you're going to be raising your family. If you're a woman, if you're a single woman, or you're a single woman with a child, you want to know the place is safe. You want to know that what you're walking into, those times you're coming back home late or very early in the morning, right? Not because you're clubbing, but say it's a trip or something. You want to make sure this place is actually safe. And it's hard for you to know that you're not going to be out there staking the place out 2 a.m. trying to see what's going on here, right? You got stuff to do, and hopefully like sleep to catch up on, smart books to read, right? It sounds good. So you got your realtor. Your realtor is probably going to take care of the lender part of this for you, but it's not as if you have to use those lenders exclusively. So all the lenders are going to do is come and tell you, say, "Hey, give me your credit score, give me your social, give me all this, let me run it." Right? And this is why why you constantly hear about people stressing about your credit score being important. Now, what also apartment buildings do, what they also do, they also run your credit. They like to make sure you have a certain amount of money. They make sure you have you're actually a decent, you know, we don't have to go through an eviction process, so we're going to run your credit. Then we also want to see you have 3 times what the rent is, that you make enough to cover that. These are new things, newish things. But when your lender, they're going to look and say, "I want to see how much you owe," right? Because you can owe a lot of money and have a decent credit score. Right? That's still possible, the way your credit's actually made up. So they want to see that your debt to income ratio is solid. And depending on the lender, sometimes you go to lenders that I'm used to dealing with people with poor credit, so they push those margins further and further and further. Or you go to some people, some traditional banks, they're like, "No, this is what it's set at." Statistically, by their data, if you have too much debt, you cannot pay this home. That's what they're concerned about. Especially they're lending you, they want to make sure they get their bread, they get their cheddar, because it's not in a bank's best interest to kick you out and foreclose on your home and short sell the thing. They want you there for the 30. Right? They want you there. I know I'm going to get my money plus. Banks have a different outlook rather than we do. You owe me money, I want that money tomorrow. Banks are like, "Cool, nah, we'll kick this down. 30 years, you know, we can get our bread back, or we can repackage your entire loan to someone else, sell that thing off." And this is how you end up as a homeowner. Now you're paying your same money to a new lender. You get a whole big package. You may even get a call. "Hey, we bought your loan." Okay. Yeah, pay us now, right? If you pay them, that's no good. You need to pay us now. Yeah, they bundled that with a bunch of other securities and they sold that off. Happens all the time. So even if I love Chase, you go to Chase may sell you a loan. Right? Now you with, you know, some other schmuck bank. One of my rentals, I'm with a schmuck bank. I hate them so much. I constantly have escrow issues. But so you can go to this person, you go to whatever lender you use, or you can go online. You can look at other banks. You can walk into banks and say, "I'm looking for a loan for blah, blah, blah." Depending on who you are, depending your relationship with some banks, they may give you better loans. Say, for instance, you're a Chase private client. They may give you better loans, a better rate, because they want you to do your business with them. So this is the time we start leveraging your relationship with other banks, with other people, or with, with your whoever your realtor says, I recommend this person. Understand that recommendation just may be some person they're used to working with. It may be nothing special about that person at all, right? Don't be so attached to the lender just because they have a relationship. You don't know anything about that. Just like when you go in to buy a car, you don't necessarily need to go and get dealer financing. You come with your own assigned. They're going to give you your lender, whoever you go with. They're going to go and say, all right, we looked at your debt to income. We looked at your credit, right? Your debt to income. Let me make sure whatever, say you have a car loan and Netflix, right? And a bunch of other subscriptions and a bunch of other monthly obligations. Your debt rises, your income needs to be on the rise as well in order for you to qualify for a certain amount of money. Now, the median home price is $400,000. You're going to have to make roughly $130,000 right now with a decent debt to income ratio. This is math, right? This is talking about you trying to get the best interest rates here. If you don't, then you need to make sure the less money you make, the less debt you need to have on you. So make sure if you're in the home buying process, if you're thinking about buying, this is not the time for you to, get a new loan, get another car. It's not the time for that. It's not the time for you to have your credit being run left, right, and center. It's time for you to be patient, be humble, and be quiet about stuff. I know so many different lenders and realtors that get frustrated because their person is in the process. They've got everything on. They're looking at closing down the window and they buy a new car. Now the whole loan scope, now things have to change. Now, sometimes you may have to now come up with more money down in order to still qualify for that loan. So it's one of those things you need to be cognizant of. There's a certain framework you need to have ready to go and approached when it comes down to buying a home. It's seeing and touring a lot of places. It's going back and forth. It's being patient, and it's seeing that nice, shiny Porsche 911 and say, I can't. Right now, let's do the smart thing. I can't do something like that right now. I just need to be patient. It's just moving and understanding that. That's all. That's all it is. But especially our people, we tend to do that a lot. Hey, I bought that. It shouldn't have been a problem. It's a problem, right? You can throw off the entire numbers, entire metric. So you go to your lender. Your lender turns around and says, "Hey, here's a pre-approval letter." Right now, this is important for when it's time for you to start negotiating and sending in offers. The realtor's going to handle that. You guys go and you say, man, I love this place. I absolutely love it. Starbucks is a walk that way, right? The playground right there. The school is immaculate. This is chef's kitchen. This is double burners. I got all the stuff I love. All the stuff I'm excited about. Okay. Now you want to put an offer. House is $450,000. Okay, your pre-approval letter says, I, said bank lender, have formally say, I will give you this amount of money for your house. You're good. It's a letter saying, yo, his money's good right here. Her money's good with me. I got it. So you would hope that number covers whatever you're supposed to offer there. So you pre-approved for $300,000, but you want a house for $450,000. How do you make up the difference? Down payment. You can go there and you can put an offer and say you're buying the house from me. Sometimes your realtor will include the pre-approval letter saying, hey, there's proof that this person's good. The wink and the nod. They're good, right? They're from around the way. I vouch to them. Okay, your offer sounds good. I want $450,000. You say I'll give you $450,000. Okay, great. It says you only approved for $300,000. I say, hey, don't worry about it. She got the money, right? She's going to put down $150,000. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That's how you bridge that gap. That's one of the ways you bridge that gap. You can't go there and try to say, I'm going to put an offer for $500,000. You're approved for less and you don't have the funds to, actually make up that difference. A real seller is going to look at that and say, move it on. I'm going to find someone else. This isn't a real serious person when you're actually trying to buy in a market that you're not prepared for. So you want to make sure your lender can cover whatever the home price. So if you're going there and your lender says, yo, I'll lend you up to $650,000, but you only need $400,000. Okay, great. Now this is a pro tip, right? This is a pro tip. If you're in the buying process, you come with a pre-approval and you attach it and it says you're good for 600 and the place is for 450. You offer 410. They're going to look and say, you got the money. You got the money. You can't walk it back and say, yo, I'm giving you my best and brightest offer. Please, this is my best. 410 is my best. It's the best thing I can do. They know it's not. It's in the letter. It's in the letter. This is where relationships help you out. Where you have a decent relationship with your lender, and this is why, sometimes you go someone again and again. Say we know you're approved for 6. You want to offer 410. You go to your lender and say, hey, could you write me a pre-approval that says 415? Okay, sure, right? They know you're good for 6. We're going to give you 6. You say, I just need 415. I'm trying to make this deal 415. That helps. That helps you negotiate and say, okay, now if they say I can't do 415, I can do 420. And you're like, I have to come out my own pockets, right? I'll have to up this to make this happen. Now this is just negotiation tactics, but you get it, right? There's tips and tricks, and we can talk about those on another time. But the whole process is pre-approval. That says your money is good. You put in the offer, great. Cheers and celebrations, right? We're moving down the field, right? Now you have to go and look and say, part of your agreement when you put in your offer is I'm going to get an inspection. You want someone to come in there, especially if especially you're not handy. You want someone to come in there and tell you if things are actually breaking, if things are actually terrible. You want to make sure you don't end up in something like, oh, the house looks good. It's very easy to make things look good. And it's very easy to hide a lot of damage behind the walls. You don't know what a healthy roof looks like versus one that's substantially on the way out. If the shingles on the outside have just been replaced, you don't know anything about what's going on in terms of insulation behind your walls. You don't have a clue about that. You don't know anything about heat loss. You don't know about how much it's actually costing you to heat this place because most of the heat escapes. Most of the cool air escapes. You know anything about that. You can't eyeball these things. You don't know what type of wiring is behind the walls. You have no sense of that. You have absolutely no sense of that. You don't know the difference between 120 versus 240 volt breaker. You don't know. Inspector does. Inspector can come and test the foundation, can test, oh, these are going to need to be replaced. That's probably going to cost you this. You get a whole detailed report. A whole detailed report where it's just like, damn, this is intricate. You want to make sure things are up to code because once you actually close and sign, all those problems are your problems. And even though someone may love their house, they may look, and one of the reasons they're ready to sell, radon inspection, exactly, right? You don't know, was this tested for lead? You don't know. Right. And again, you can't eyeball it. You can't go and look at the walls and say, yep, definitely lead. Right. Oh, definitely asbestos. You don't know. A lot of these houses, this is a little morbid fact. You don't know. Right. Because if you're not buying a new construction, how many generations you can usually see, all right, when was this house built? Some houses built 1940, 1920. How many families have lived and died in that place? How many times have been remodeled and such like that? Some of the things in the bare bones of it don't get changed. Foundation is the same. The crawl space is the same. The basement. All these things they could potentially be problems that you are inheriting. Once you sign on that dotted line, once you guys close, all those issues you can't turn around back unless it's something egregious. But then you have to go and sue that person in court and do all that. Most of the time, it's going to be your issue. So you get the inspector. Inspector comes and says, boom, here's your report. Is usually going to have things they say, I recommend these things get changed. I recommend like in 6 months, a year, 5 years, you can get those things broken down. And sometimes they will be, as detailed as possible. Things about this thing is a little loose, right? This door jamb is loose, or this is it. They can get very technical on all those. They test the outlets. This is not GFI. This should be this here. All these things that are important. You want to make sure things that are going to keep you safe are going to be there. Now, for big ticket items, hey, yeah, this roof is no good. The roof is no good. Especially gas leaks, stuff like, you want to make sure all that. This furnace this furnace has 2 months left, right? And you're going into the winter. Now this furnace is shit, right? This furnace is actually going to get you guys killed. Cool. There's a reason people don't want to do these. These are big ticket items. Furnace can be, depending on the size of the house, can be 10 grand, 15 grand for you to come and fix. The amount of furnace I've replaced in the last couple of years, I fucking hate it. Right? And it's always in the dead of winter. Like, yeah, you need to replace this. Okay, how much? Do you want it? All right, and some issues that go wrong with your furnace, they're not patchable. They're not, hey, just get me to get me to spring. It's not like that. Some of these issues are, we got to shut everything down. You shut that down, pipes get frozen during the winter. Whole issue. I've once had to pay for people to be in a hotel because shit was terrible, right? They had to come, replace the boiler, all the while, just every they just on my dime, my dollar, they're there, right? And you really can't have, and if it runs too long, at a certain point in time, even as a landlord with some type of, you don't want to be known as a slumlord, how much charge you rent, right? When you haven't been home. So we're to make sure we get some of these things done quick, but quick usually means expensive, especially in the winter, right? Oh, it's an emergency. Here's the money we need from you. So these things matter. That's on the budget side of you making sure you have this set up. So on the big ticket items, now you want to go back and start negotiating with the seller. Say, hey, look, my man, my guy, right? You need a new roof. Or, the roof is this. You can either fix it yourself and we can still continue this home buying process. All this other stuff I'll take care of, right? Yeah. Thank you for subscribing, right? Get them. These things matter, right? Especially to a small channel, man, these things matter. So we're hoping to give back some information. That's what we do Mondays. So now you go to the seller. Hey, this shit no good, right? Do me a favor. Fix it. No, absolutely not. I refuse. I'm not gonna fix it. Okay, now you're at an impasse. Now you guys remember, it's all negotiation. So listen, I ain't gonna fix it. I'll take 20 grand off of your asking, off the price of the home. Effectively, you've got 20 grand in your pocket right now, right? That it kind of sort of feels like that, but the house is now 20 grand cheaper, but now it's still the onus to fix it is now on you. Sometimes that's how you negotiate. When you have that list of things that are wrong, or structurally wrong with the place, you can go back and forth and say, yeah, you can take money off that. I could fix that. It's a push and pull game. This is when we have an even market. By even, I mean, you got an equal number of buyers, you got an equal number of sellers. Is it ever equal? No. When we say it's a seller's market, we're saying that there's a little bit of inventory. There's few amount of houses on the market, but there's always buyers. The buyer's market, and we got plenty of homes ready to go. What happens? Then you come and say, if it's a buyer's market, say, hey, you got to fix this. No, I don't want money. I'll fix it. And since I'm really trying to sell my place, I got to fix it. Because if you're a buyer and you're like, okay, deal's off. Contractually, right? If you got a, I don't want to say a good realtor, an average realtor is going to make sure, oh no, the clause is, yeah, you can back out of a deal if something comes back from your home inspection and it's no good. You have up until a certain date. You got to pay attention to that date. You get the home inspection and it's 50 pages. Don't sit on it and say, I'll get it to it Friday. You're wasting time, right? Don't do that. Get the report, go through it and be like, oh, this is going to be where you live. You want to know these things. Other pro tip we'll give you real quick. If you do go ahead and buy the place, make sure you know how to operate the things, like the furnace, right? The HVAC. Make sure you know how to operate these things, because you could just be like, oh, it's spring, I'm good. AC is fine. Well, you may not know how to heat the place, right? You may not know all the nooks and crannies and things. So just get a little walkthrough before, the person signs on the dotted line is out. So if it's an actual seller's market, which some places right now, like New York's a seller's market, Texas It's a buyer's market. There's plenty of inventory on the market in Texas, specifically Dallas, specifically Houston. That's why you're going to start seeing home prices start to dip. There's more people that are trying to sell, offload their houses in Texas versus New York. New York, the inventory is still low. So what you'll see is home prices continue to rise. People come and say, yeah, I got to buy this place. It's $800,000. 6 years ago, it was $450,000. Yeah, that's how the market ends up swaying. We've got more people looking to grab it. So first scenario, it's a seller's market. He knows he's got the good, he's got the gold. You come there and say, partner, you got to replace the entire roof. He says, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've got 5 other offers. So we take that one step before this process. You submit your offer. This is when it's a seller's market, when it's bad. You submit your offer, right? I have the open house Wednesday, right? You come through, you look, there's a waiting list, there's a sign-in sheet. You see people walking out, waiting online to come in. They're all touring it, right? From single people to families to newborns to people in strollers. Everyone's there, seeing the house, walking around, nodding up and down. Okay, cool. Realtor sitting there, gleaming, excited. She knows she's going to sell. He knows he's going to sell. Going to get paid. Yeah, you come in there and then you submit your offer. Your realtor connects with that realtor and say, all right, I'm going to submit that offer. That realtor is going to contact your realtor and say, listen, he's got 9 offers. This is what he's going to do for you, right? It's Wednesday, remember? He's going to say, Sunday, submit your best offer, your very best offer. Then he's going to make a decision. He's telling us everyone. This is a tactic when you can now get people that end up going to be paying 20 over asking, 30, 40, 50. Because he knows you got 9 people here. It's a bidding war. We can either do this back and forth all day with you. And I go, okay, I want $450 for the house. You say, bet, cool. I'll give you $440. No, I'm good on the price. $445. I don't want to do this back and forth with you because I got 9 other people that I could also entertain. The minute I'm locked in with you, I'm locked in with you. I accept your offer. All the other offers go away. Even if someone later on, contractually, we both sign this, right? We're locked in. Someone else comes and said, I'm going to give you $600,000 for this house. I can't take that offer. I'm contractually obligated to you. Are there ways around it? Slimy ways around it? Absolutely. But right now, so instead of doing that, I'm just going to say, submit your best offer Sunday. And then you guys get to go home and stir. You see other places, but you don't really like it. You're not really in love with it. Remember, there's not a whole bunch of places in your price range right here, right now, that you saw that you love. You love my place. Okay. So now you say, best offer, $500K. Okay. And he looks at that and say, cool. But because it's still his show, right? It's still his show. Part of your offer is also saying no inspection. So you submit $500K full inspection. Someone else says $500K no inspection. Who would I go with? Right? Who would I go with? Now the ultimate high, the high joker. I come there and I say, here you go. Cash, no inspection. Close in 2 weeks. All right, I'm going with that guy. Hey, I'm going with that guy. Now this is, so you understand part of this, and this is just extra lore. A lot of times you see this overseas entities will usually do this. You have people from like Dubai, Saudi Arabia, China. They'll come and they'll straight cash. Boom. How do you beat that? Right? We can go into gentrification, and this is how sometimes when you throw a lot of cash in someone's face, right? Essentially, it's all the same thing, just the time. I want to move out this place. You're going to give me a lot of money. No respect. And right now, hey, I'm gone. Right? You got it. As we'll talk about as we're going forward, the reason people like cash offers, and you don't have to go through, the things that end up slowing up the process is usually lending. They've got to look at the loan. They've got to look at the title. They got to look at every little thing and say, we can actually lend this. We can now fund this. It's an entire process. It's a part of the underwriting process. It takes time. You can undercut a lot of that with straight cash in a briefcase. It's hard to beat. So That's the ultimate trump card for people that are looking to buy a house. They just come straight cash. Cash, no inspection. You can do that right now. That may be what you need to do to be competitive in a seller's market. In a buyer's market, you'd be like, nah, I'm getting an inspection and I'm gonna lowball you. And since you're the only person that saw this place in 30 days, I got to play ball. All right. But listen, we passed that. You got the offer, you got the inspection. You guys are negotiating what you're going to do. Now you're in that phase where you don't buy anything, right? Don't buy anything. Don't sit there and change the terms. And no, don't buy anything. Now it's the waiting game. Right? You guys negotiated, you're good. Now everything starts happening behind the scenes. Now other entities are talking back and forth. Title, they're looking up and seeing does this person actually own it? There are any liens on this? All stuff that has nothing to do with you. Stuff that you can't go and affect. It's a slow process, and there's nothing you can go and say, make it faster. You can just start picking out curtains and drapes and maybe how you might want to do this and that. You can do all that, right? There's still some pitfalls that may actually occur that, prevent you from buying this house. But that's stuff that is going to be outside your range. Outside of you can't do anything about that. You sit back, you wait, and you get to closing. That day is finally here. Everyone is checked off and said they're good, they're excited. You have your real estate attorney, which may be your realtor, right? This is expertise you lean on them from. Realtor is like, hey, I got someone for you. You're going to use this person. Great, cool, we're with it, right? Boom, we're moving. Your real estate attorney said, all right, come. Now it's time. You sit there and you sign documents. Some in triplicate. Some stuff even saying that you're saying you're not a terrorist. Right? It's just the flavor of the month. You're signing, then you get your keys, and congratulations, you are now a homeowner. Now, if you do a conventional loan, now you know the difference, like we did with the graph. The difference where you're going to find yourself in terms of just what your payment is going to be versus 1% at 3.5 to 20% down. I put 20%. I put more than 20% down when I bought my first place in 2012. And I was like, I'm going to bet on myself. I think I'm going to be better in the future. So let me put this money down right now. So in my particular case, bought the place for like $60,000+ down. I think my mortgage was something like $1,900 a month, right? Super excited about that. I think I was making like $75K at the time. Super excited about that. I had a bunch of friends who was like, why'd you put so much money down? I said, so when stuff sucks, it'll suck less, right? I know stuff is going to suck soon, eventually, down the line, but it'll suck less. I had $125 in my bank account, my checking account. Like I was tapped out. And say 10 days later, Hurricane Sandy said, dog, I'm so proud of you. Here is 5 feet of water in your house. Just boom. And I was like, oh. So very quickly, I got accustomed to the insurance process and what all of that was like in the superstorm Sandy that hit New York. So it was a learning experience. Right? It was a frightful learning experience. Like it sucked, right? But you learn a lot about insurance, right? So if you want the pro tip for insurance, have a natural disaster hit before you've made 2 payments, right? Then you're coming out on top. And have it be so undeniable that no one can tell you're lying. Oh no, I got water in my home. Nah, that's impossible. We gotta send someone to look out. No, everyone did. Some people's houses got reclaimed by the sea. Yeah, we all know what happened. So luckily insurance absolutely sucks. Absolutely sucks. Absolutely sucks. Because most of you are not gonna have any use for insurance. Stuff's not gonna go wrong. You may have, depending on where your area you live, you may have some damage to the home, like maybe high winds that end up destroying some shingles on your house, right? And then, maybe you go up there and tear a larger hole in it and make an insurance claim and then get a new roof for the low. That's a pro tip, right? Put that in the back pocket. You may need that one day. But yeah, so that's the process. Right? When you go about and buying your home, and then you have the different options. Again, how much you put down is going to reflect how much your monthly payment is. Now, let's make sure I put this up one more time. Now we're being realistic individuals, right? So if we're saying the average home price is going to be 400K, and this is just the median price with, you know, everyday America, wherever. But if we start talking about metropolitan cities where people tend to be focused and aggregated, when this number jumps up and your monthly is something like 4, right? 4, maybe, you know, 4, maybe 5. Does a lot of this 50-50 talk make any sense? Right? Does it make any sense when it's going to cost you this type of money? And this is just, you're talking your debt service, right? We're not talking about when stuff goes wrong, wrong, maintenance, right? Just small little things that you have to fix around the house. A house is always about, it's always about 80% done, right? In terms of, I need to fix this, I need to do this, and I need this. You got to learn to rest at 80%. If you go for that 100, you're going to be doing it constantly. There's always something out of place. There's always something that needs to be tweaked. This. It's the nature of it. Now, depending on the market, you know, depending how you feel about, you know, what you want to do with the house, one of the things that why it increases your net worth so much, one, it's because it's because it's considered floodplains by certain, even specifically that. I lucked out. The place I bought, right? Across the street and a little bit, there's the water, right? The homeowners I bought it from, the wife worked for State Farm. They had an elevated certificate of elevation, right?
It sounds good.
So flood insurance there, you had to have it, right? One of the things about it was close to, it was Long Island, it was close to the water, right? But that ended up, the flood insurance ended up costing me something like $1,200 a year, which was phenomenal, right? And remember, the totality of what we're playing, the mortgage, the PMI, not PMI, the principal, interest, all that, right? Insurance, all that was $1,900. $1,900. That was phenomenal. Now, over time, when things become valued as more expensive, more and more expensive, you know, these things can change. As when COVID hit and we had the slowdown and everything, you know, then they started saying, hey, I'm going to take advantage of you. Now we start increasing, say, things insurance. Your property taxes go up. So that 1,900 where we started now is like 24, right? But this is over almost, 14-year process, right? Now, a quick aside for loans, for understanding your mortgage, right? But your mortgage is a totality thing. You have a 30-year loan. So that money you pay up front, right? That, what are we talking about? that $3,350 for the first half of that loan, most of that money goes to interest payments. It doesn't do much to substantially decrease your principal that you owe. So it's not like 100%, but if you, of that 33, say, you know, this is just for instance, we haven't done the numbers on this, but say 600 of that goes down to paying the principal, the rest goes to extra interest. Because the bank is like, I'm gonna get my money up front. Because most of you not gonna live to see the end of your loan, right? If you buy a house right now and you're 55, 30-year mortgage, most people understand you're not gonna see the end of this. So the bank's like, cool, no problem. I need my money up front. Right? Banks are like, I'm leaving here with something. So when people you see on TikTok or social media, they get up and say, yo, this is ridiculous. I've been paying X amount for X amount of time. And this is your amortization schedule during your closing that your lender will send to you from the very beginning, shows you month by month how much, where your principal is going to be, how much goes to interest. They're very upfront with it. So when we turn around and we look shocked, like, oh my God, when did this happen? No, they tell you, you just don't look. Okay? And then you feed this ignorance thinking, I've been making payments for 5 years. I bet I owe a lot. No, you still owe a bunch. Now, all lenders, like, they have an option for you to put more money towards principal. So you make your full $3,350, right? And then I'm gonna slide a little extra right here just to go John's right down towards my principal. If you make one extra payment towards principal per year, they say you can shorten your loan, the life of your loan by years. So that's what some people actually end up doing. To each his own. There's all strategies. Some people like to refinance into a shorter loan. Understand a refinance is also considered a sale, i.e., closing costs. So if your closing costs were $25,000, right? Let's say you went to conventional, you came there with 80. Closing costs. What people end up doing, instead of saying now we got to come with 100,000, your closing costs gets put into the loan itself. So for a $400,000 home, you think I got 80 down, I got to borrow 320. No, you got to now borrow 345,000 because they took the closing costs right in there. Okay, now you say, don't worry, I'm just going to refinance when interest rates get better. Okay, that's another 25. Just understand that, right? That's another 25 that has nothing to do with nothing. You paid $25,000 to refinance this. You're still in the same house. Maybe your interest rate is lower now, or you could just be more judicious with your payments, or understand a lot of these things up front so we're not caught unawares. Like, how the hell did this happen? That's what we want to have these conversations for. We don't want to end up confused and like, yo, how did it end up here? I don't ever understand this. I never bet on this. All right. With that being said, we're going to move on to the pyramid scheme, to the Susu pyramid scheme, right? And we got one of our favorite shows, well, my favorite show. We know the actual group's favorite show is that weird one where they try to break up couples with the secrets and the lie detector. But this one's from American Greed, and I absolutely adore American Greed. But listen, this is about how they scam people during COVID. And it hurts more so because you see it being people that look like you, right? And especially young, I don't know if they graduated to D-list, but we'll take a look. You may recognize them.
In this episode of American Greed, a reality TV couple has a real-life come-down when they are accused of scamming thousands of unsuspecting victims.
The couple is accused of luring people with false promises.
They wanted to be a celebrity couple.
LaShonda and Marlon Moore say they want to help African-American communities build generational wealth.
They call it affinity fraud.
$33 million circulated.
They use religion.
We are two God-fearing individuals.
They know the buzzwords: building black wealth, blessings.
More people are going to continue to be blessed out.
The Moores use Zoom and other video platforms to sell their scheme and recruit members nationwide for their online investment community called Blessings in No Time, aka BINT.
What's up, BINT family?
What's up, BINT family?
They created this blessings circle under the guise of blessings for Black people.
So you know how it's easy. We like to hear certain things over and over again, or certain things become so, ubiquitous with the culture. You can almost bypass people's critical thinking because you sound and look like them. This is a common thing.
The Moores preach rapid BINT returns of biblical proportions and a money-back guarantee.
This is a very confusing and convoluted structure.
The FTC says BINT is an old-school fraud
Greed is like the venom of a snake.
with a modern spin that the Moores hype as totally legit.
It's always and still will be BINT.
Yeah, no, it has to. It has to. It
Rashida, you
legit
guys
has
have
to.
Jasmine, Tanisha, Sarah, Nicole, John, Gloria, Leslie.
LaShonda and Marlon Moore are running a live online recruitment meeting, inviting new members into the investment community they call BINT, short for Blessings in No Time.
I thought that they were a young, nice couple just trying to help out the community.
New members are impressed by the Moores' cachet. As entertainers and media entrepreneurs, they seem to be models of fine living, success, and giving back to the community.
You're a work in progress just like me.
They was on the own show.
And he was on 106 and Park. The Moores promise a $1,400 investment into BINT will yield a quick return of more than $11,000.
Now, anyone legitimately, right? With anyone with a bit of sense, you got to say, right? I don't, maybe not a bit of sense, a little bit more than sense. Un poco más. How are you, how does that translate? Right? Because even if you don't understand with Susu, right? This is an investment. This money goes in, right? And you thinking it's going to come around. How big does that circle has to come around for the money to come back? But is it really, is it really a Susu? Is that really what's happening here? That type of amount, you've got to just be able to sit back and say, let me do the math a little bit. Hey, this sounds cool. Let me do the math. How does this work?
And at the height of the pandemic, BINT spreads almost as fast as the coronavirus itself.
My aunt called me from Texas, telling me about this group that's so fascinating.
But there's trouble ahead. Investors are having difficulty getting their money out. And the Moores put the blame on them.
Why is it taking so long? If I gotta be honest, it's because of y'all.
They're berating people, and that's when you know that it's starting to fall apart.
And LaShonda and Marlon may have to face the music.
He just knew how to play the perfect songs at the perfect time, and he would come alive on the mic.
Born in Shreveport, Louisiana, Marlon DeAndre Maiden later changes his last name to Moore and comes to fame in Dallas in the early 2010s as DJ ASAP. Marlon selects ASAP as a moniker for his self-adopted mantra, always serve a purpose, and lands a 4-year run on the popular BET Music Countdown show 106 and Park.
That put him on the map. His star just skyrocketed.
Roderick Pullum buys his first camera around the same time Marlon picks up his turntables and says Marlon's DJ ASAP career takes off from a master mix of hustle and flow.
If the party's over, he was down on the corner passing out his mix CDs. And yeah, that's how he made it all the way to BET.
There was no celebrity or rock star of the whole game. So that's what I really wanted to try to focus on, that celebrity, rock star type of DJ vibe.
So we got a bunch of stuff that we like in the community, right? Rags to riches story. We love that. You throw in service, you throw in all the good feelings, all the good words. And then I think one real reason why we end up sometimes some of the worst victims of this, one is because we don't know. We're not well versed in it. You look and you say, okay, it's popular. He's on these television networks and these things that we lend credibility to. We think, well, they've got to do their research. Why would anyone on the own network not be properly vested, not be properly checked? Same thing with 106 and Park. This has got to be legit. So you're going to now just say, oh, they have this going. It's got to be real. Meanwhile, and this is not to say that white people do not get fleeced, right? If you watch American Greed, constantly getting fleeced, constantly. But that's the greed part, right? This is the American greed part. We think it's the people that they're showcasing. It's also us, right? It's also us to think that this thing is possible, that quick money is going to turn around. Because we see other people doing so well, we often think there's got to be a secret sauce to it. And if only I was now on the inside and now I'm putting the secret sauce on my burger, I'll get there too. I'm going to get that money. I'm going to get the payout. But if you don't know anything about Ponzi schemes, then you wouldn't know how to quickly identify one.
A celebrity DJ you're one of those people that the celebrities themselves call when they have a party or an event. Celebrity DJ also mean the price tag.
Videographer Jarvis Minton strikes a bond with Marlon in 2015 and documents his transition from a DJ promoting brands to ASAP the Mogul as Marlon spins his hustle toward his new nonprofit lifestyle accelerator called Mogul Behavior.
That's where he was branding himself from. Just people thinking that all he was a DJ.
You already see what it is, man. Mogul Behavior.
He wanted people to know, I'm a businessman. Let's talk about something that's really bringing in the dollar signs.
Marlon also flexes a suddenly strong interest in staying fit.
He started acting funny, like working out all the time, you know?
How's that funny?
According to Minton, Marlon works out to impress LaShonda Stemille Conley, a single mother of two from Conway, Arkansas, with a background in insurance adjusting and real estate.
See, there you go. Don't let him tell you that, you know, moguls and DJs and such. Right? He's getting his life together. Right? He sees that. There we go. Yeah. Jim, quick money, easy. Yeah. We want the stuff now. I want to be rich today. I don't want to hear something like, in 20 years, you're going to kill it. Right? I don't hear anything like that.
She like me more than I like him.
She was just a
Yeah, no, Jasmine, you've been acting funny. You've been acting funny.
gem, man. She had his focus, and I could just always tell that she was going to be the one for him.
I take her to the club, we talking and everything, and she was like, you know, you gonna fall in love. I'm gonna make you fall in love with me.
Together, they just created like this super power couple.
Oh. Yeah, it looks like they caught us. Memory block. Oh, yeah, they don't like us playing that video. All right, yeah, listen, we're back. Yeah. Yeah, they're probably going to end up demonetizing this stream because of that. Damn, CNBC, don't they know I'm a fan? Okay. Should give them 1 second to catch up. Anyway, can you guys actually hear me? Yeah, give it a second to catch on. Yeah, they're probably CNBC's like, you know, you can't use that, so we're gonna block all the rest of that. Right, that's what I'm trying to say. It's fair use. They don't they don't want to hear that. They just want to be straight up haters. What are you supposed to do? And it's not like these live streams actually bring in like a ton of money. It'll be like 14 cents. You hating on me over 14 cents? All right. Let me know when it does cut. Okay, we're back. Yeah. You hating on me over 14 cents. Guys, don't worry about it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's fair use. Haters going to hate. What are we supposed to do about that? But yeah, when we don't know about a lot of this, when we don't know about a lot of these scams, this is how we end up in, you know, place. And to go on, essentially what ends up happening with them is they get larger and larger and they start having these other rules saying like they want you to spread the name of BINT. They want you to spread this out, but they also don't want you to talk about it online. Don't post anything like this online. When you're already part of this thing and they're telling you, yo, it's Fight Club, don't talk about it. You should start worrying about it. They also move off to this other model where it's now they take this very convoluted thing about who gets paid out at what time, who gets blessed at what time. And they now make you pay $85 a month for this app, for the subscription, where now that's how they're going to move the entire thing on there. So these are people that are near the end of retirement. They don't have money. They don't have a lot of they don't have much left in their life. And they're putting a lot of money into these things. So now you on top of that say, I need $85 a month for you to even access this. So of course, naturally, people start saying, I need that bread. Yo, I'm done. I'm out. Just give me my money. Part of what you did early on, you guaranteed people a refund. Hey, if you're unsatisfied, you can pull out at any time. You don't got to worry about it, right? This is how much of a legit issue it is. But when you understand the pyramid scheme, I need to constantly bring in more people. I grabbed everyone in the chat. I grabbed all your money. I needed all your money to make whatever thing happen, this BINT thing. And while you gave me your money, and I say, all right, we're going to go around and you're up next to be blessed. We bless you. We bless a couple of people. So you see it's working. So the word starts to spread. And as it spreads, as more people bring their money in, I start spending the money. I start living lavishly, enjoying it, siphoning it elsewhere. As long as this thing keeps spreading and I get an influx of new money, I can honor the original agreement. When people early on start saying, you know what, this is not for me, I need this money, hey, no problem, here you go. I look reputable. I look like, oh shit, he's right. He's actually being honest and true about it. Okay, now this spreads further. Now people understand, okay, this is a legit thing. They honored everything they talked about. You know, they were making actually these moves. This is great. This is fantastic. All the while, my cars are getting more expensive. My vacations get more expensive. My clothes get more expensive. And it's your dime. It's your dollar. But understood. But 50 week and 220 pound. Exactly. When you look at it like that, when it's just math, you can just set your own money aside to get to that outcome. But now we start leaning into the psychology of things. When people don't understand how to actually save, when that money comes in, it's like it used to burn a hole in your pocket. Cash used to burn a hole in your pocket, right? Yeah, these guys were convicted just this early this year, 2026. So yeah, this is very real, very recent. People still fall for these all the time. Sometimes they just don't make the national consciousness. They make, like, say, American greed and such. Becomes a very, very normal thing, normal occurrence. So when this goes on, eventually at some point in time, you stop expanding large enough to actually continue to take in more money. You're not getting more money coming in, so you can't actually cover what you're supposed to cover. You can't bless who needs to be blessed, who's up next to be blessed. I don't have the money. So now it starts getting funny. Now I say, hey, I need out, right? Exactly. It's always the desperate people that we're looking for, right? That's the ones that usually you go forward because you want this outcome so badly. You're not willing to say anything. I'm trying to do any type of this work. That's natural. That's the next phase. That's the next occurrence. So eventually this thing breaks down. It cuts out because I can't honor the debts I'm supposed to. And eventually someone starts saying, yo, someone should be looking at these people. This is illegal. Now, the unique thing about their story, I don't say unique, but they got aggressive. Right? You're on these Zoom calls and they're starting to get aggressive with the people on them, being upset with them, saying like, yo, the reason it's not working is because y'all not working. Well, I'm not manifesting stuff enough? Or what, I'm supposed to I pay my money in, I'm paying my $85 a month now, but I'm supposed to be next up to getting blessed. This convoluted circle, how this is supposed to happen, but it's not happening. So now you're getting aggressive with everyone else, and you're starting to kick people out this group because you and your man know you can't actually honor these debts. So eventually, like most Ponzi schemes, eventually you cannot pay what you're supposed to pay, and the whole thing comes down. The whole thing tumbles down. So now you get to court, and people are like, "Yo, it's good. It's good for y'all." The issue is, I have yet to see one case where some type of fraud in this sense, where you ever, yeah. Doc Shine would say it's definitely low vibration. It was, well, for what it's worth, right? It would it would get to the point where, no one gets made whole, right? Even when the government steps in and they have programs and institutions there to go and put it upon these people to recover what was lost, what was spent, what was, hey, you collected millions of dollars from these people. You got to make this whole. They sell off your assets. They look and see, do you have any money that we can, any accounts that we can freeze, any money we could take, and then divvy it up to the people that got fleeced. So sometimes you'll get people that are out $250,000. And every so often, there's a check that comes in the mail from one of these restitution funds. It's like $14. It's very, I've never seen anyone be made whole because that money has to come from somewhere. And that money was spent a long time ago to keep up with the lifestyle, to show out, to be like, no, this is what we are. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we attract more people in. So standard issue Ponzi scheme, give me your money, and I'm going to give you more and more. Like, these work, right? Let's understand something real quick. Ponzi schemes work if you're very early. You're very early into it, right? If you're nowhere near the bottom of that pyramid, yeah, it works. You're taking people in and you say, hey, cool, listen, I got to get out of this thing. No problem. If you're part of that initial seed where I need to do right by you so everyone else thinks I'm doing right by them, that's when it works. That's when it works. But you never really know where you are in that process. Are you in the process of, yeah, you know, you're going to get some money, you're going to get some bread, or in that process, like, you'll never see any of this again. Hell, you never see me again. It's a hard thing to figure out. It's a hard thing to tell. But the best thing you could do is just, you know, kind of be diligent with your own money. Decide, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to be better with my money. I'm going to make sure I'm moving and shaking in these ways. That's how you take it. Listen, I really enjoyed this, especially talking about the home buying process. We can get into more details another time, specific about rentals and the difference between this and that. But we're definitely going to talk. Can someone remind me about romance scams? Because I find those absolutely fascinating as well. It may be the Nigerian in me, so you know, don't fault me for that. But as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one.